All right, let's move on to the last topic of the panel. We'll go to you, Brian, first. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Giovani Lo Celso over the last couple of years. Yep. The general consensus has been like, just get rid now. He hasn't done anything in a Spurs shirt, but these last 2 games has maybe swayed a few people's minds if Giovani does have a future at Spurs. How are you feeling about it, Brian? Do you feel it's a bit too quick to make that judgment call? Or do you think that, you know, with the games that he has had in the last 2 games, you can see a clear spot for him now in this Ange Postecoglou squad? And would you like to see him have a future at Spurs now?
So we started this whole panel show with our Spurs back, and we were basing that for 1 game. Basing Gio Lo Celso's Spurs career on 2 games is way too premature to go, oh yeah, listen, I have never doubted, and I don't think Spurs fans have never doubted this boy's quality. I think what is the doubt is his ability to stay fit. That's the problem. I will keep referring back to when we did the Amazon All or Nothing documentary. For the first part of the season before COVID came in, he was by far one of our best players. And I remember a goal away at Southampton. You boys might have been there, where he ran from our pitch, our half to their half, took on about 5-6 players. He was incredible. And then COVID, injuries persisted. He plays for Argentina. He's incredible. He goes on loan to Spain. He's incredible. He comes back here. He just can't stay fit. And I've always wanted to keep, if it's out of him and Tanguy and Dembele, I don't think there's any kind of hesitance, apart from maybe Sim, who will transfer Dembele just one more time. But
bring him home. Bring him home.
The ultimate Ndombele stan, that is. The ultimate.
Look, Basuma and Sarr are going AFCON. Galatasaray don't want him. Bring him home.
I like the smell.
But I think what we've got to remember with Lo Celso as well, we may want him to stay. It's a case of, does he want to stay? It's a case of, yes, he's getting first team regular first team football now. But we as Spurs fans, we think, do we want him gone? Do we want him here? But we forget what that man wants and what's best for his family. And if he thinks, right, I'm not going to get first team football when Maddison's back, and then if they're going to play Kulu, it's going to live. I want him to stay. I don't think under any. I mean, before he started playing, couldn't risk him, couldn't Maddison. Now we've seen him these 2 games. We need to wrap this guy up in cotton wool over Christmas until Maddison's back. And if he can stay fit, we have a very, very, very good player on our hands who has shown in the last 2 games what he can do. Like Jacob said, name a player that plays in that position that normally has 100% pass accuracy.
Especially against Man City with Rodri breathing down your ass.
Exactly, the European champion, league champion. I mean, so there's a player in there. It's just his ability to stay fit.
Yeah. Jacob, what's your feeling on Lo Celso? Is it a bit too early to call?
Yeah, I'm going to say 2 good games does not override 2-3 years of not good stuff. So for me, give me 10 more games of that, and I'll be apologizing. I'll be singing his praises. And to Brian's point, if Barcelona comes calling, you know he's gone. That's my issue with him. If Barcelona comes calling to Romero, is he gone? I don't think so. Is any of our players going to leave if Barcelona calls tomorrow and tries to get him in January? I think Lo Celso sees that's an avenue where I may potentially be able to start, and I could play in La Liga where I actually flourish. But
Jacob, it's mad. It's mad that we live in a world where he can get in the Barcelona team, but not the Spurs team.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. But you would say in our fully fit starting 11, I don't see where Lo Celso fits in other than a backup role. And if he's okay with playing that, is Højbjerg okay with playing that? I don't think they are. They're prominent figures for their national team. Højbjerg's the damn captain of his. You think he wants to be riding the bench? Hell no. But I love the response from both of them. Giovani Lo Celso responded in a way that I didn't think he would. So I have turned I closed the door on him last year before, it don't matter when it was. I had closed the door on my hopes and my thoughts for what he could do for Tottenham Hotspur. What he's done in these last 2 matches, I said, you know what? Maybe I unlock that door. Maybe I see if I should open that door again to the love for Giovani. I'm not saying he needs to win my love. That's pedantic. But I'm saying that for me as a player, he's always had the quality. When we had him on loan, I think all of us were like, let's sign him up. We signed him up. Then we were like, damn, why did we sign him up? Now he's ass. And so it's like this balance of you got to get the best out of him while still Same thing could be said for Ndombele, Sim. Has he been given a chance under an attacking manager and a progressive ball at your feet? No, he did the ball at his feet, the techie stuff in the defensive pragmatic systems. And to me, I don't have a problem with what Lo Celso's done, but I agree with Brian. It's 2 matches doesn't erase the history that is there, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. Long may it continue, and I hope he does buy in, because you know what? If he does buy in and he says, hey, I'm fine with substitute appearances, coming off the bench, starting the cup game, doing this and that, because I believe in what we're doing here. I believe in the mentality and and how we all feel in the locker room. Remember, one of the things coming out in the beginning, early stages of summer was Postecoglou revitalized the locker room. You know, it's funny how you take Harry Kane, the A student, out of the classroom, how the class start acting when he leave. Look, we're having a good time. Basuma, James Madison fighting for who's going to be the DJ in the locker room. Like, the vibes are immaculate. Let's keep them immaculate. Now, if there's spoiled sour apples in the bunch, we got to take them out. But right now, Giovani Lo Celso, for all intents and purposes, does not seem to be that. He is the antithesis of a sour apple. And you know what? I like this Lo Celso. I think he likes what he's doing too. He's actually posting on social media about Tottenham, even when he made a bench appearance as a substitute. I remember talking about this on my channel. It was like, he actually tweeted about Spurs even as a substitute. So maybe he is falling back in love with the club. Maybe, you know, he's having a little bit of success. He hears the fans cheering him on and he's feeling the love, and long may it continue. I don't know. Or he's buying into Ange Postecoglou and he believes in what he can bring to it. So either way, long may it continue.
Yeah, but, you know, back to your point about Ndombele not playing under an attacking manager, you got to remember Ndombele was here at the start of the summer and he was given a chance and he didn't do anything to maybe fight his way into Postecoglou's plans.
He got injured before the West Ham match in preseason, though.
He got injured, but, I mean, if he showed the right attitude and application, he would still be here now. That's just
look
the
what he's doing at Turkey.
Fair.
Look what he's doing at Turkey. He does it everywhere he goes. Everywhere he's gone on loan, even Napoli. You know what? Just very quick with him, you would have thought winning a Scudetto, he would have come back and gone, right, this is it. I've won it. I've got the appetite now. I'm going to do this.
He's definitely got an appetite, that's for sure.
And you too. I can't shame the man. I got a big appetite.
Go on, Sid.
Yeah, I think for me, Gio, I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. I've always been a big believer in his ability, and I was a massive fan when obviously signed him permanently. Obviously, the form he was in at that time when we signed him, and I think even at times at Tottenham, he's had some really good games, and I think he's shown what he's capable of. But as someone who really believed in Lo Celso, I definitely pretty much given up on him before pre-season in terms of any chance of him returning to Tottenham or actually, getting into the squad or making an appearance or having any sort of future.
Why did you give up on him before Ndombele?
Because I thought that Ndombele might want to be here, and I didn't think Lo Celso did. But pre-season obviously proved me wrong. It proved me Lo Celso wanted to be here more than... then I actually think in weather it's a different case, but I thought Ndombele would have started that West Ham game if he didn't get injured, but whatever, that's by the by, is what it is now. Lo Celso stepped in, he took his chance, and Ndombele fell by the wayside, and he's now in Turkey. But... I thought the reality is if the price was right for Lo Celso, he wouldn't be here, right? We would have sold him a long time. So I think the question, even though he's playing very well at the moment, and I would love him to stay long term if he can continue this level of performance, whether he is playing for his future at Tottenham or whether he's paying so that someone's going to stump up the cash to actually convince someone to sign him, because at the end of the day, that's really what's held him from a move, is the fact that no one's just been convinced to put the money up for him, basically. That's why he's still here. So maybe... I would love to say these performances will convince Spurs for him to have a future at Tottenham, but I think it's probably going to be these performances, if he can keep it up, will convince someone to buy him, and he'll probably be off in the summer. But in terms of Jacob's point, in a fully fit team, is there a space for him? I think if Ange Postecoglou was to really have a vision, in a perfect vision of how his team operates, I think he would want someone like Lo Celso in that 8 position with Madison in the 10, and I think he would want someone, basically he would want a kind of Lo Celso who's able to do the dirty work as well. I think if you look at some of the most successful teams in the past era. Like, they've always had in a 4-3-3 just two really good technicians. You know, you look at Man City with like De Bruyne and David Silva. They didn't have like an 8 who was like a box to box. They knew they could do it with like a technician who just works really hard. So I don't see, if we can get Lo Celso keeping up these defensive numbers he's been doing recently, and we know he's a player who's capable of putting a foot in. We've seen it for Argentina as well. He's not a player, and also when at his height at Tottenham, when he was in some of his best performances, I remember his defensive numbers were pretty strong. So I don't see a reason, if he can not be a liability off the ball essentially, and he can be like good off the ball, why can't he play next to Maddison and have like a Basuma or a Bentancur behind him, and that be a midfield three that we can move forward with? I don't see why. I think Ange would love that if that was the case. So I don't see why he can't challenge someone like Sarr in the future, even when he comes in for that number 8 position. Obviously, Bentancur is also going to be coming back as well. But when it comes to, do I see Lo Celso having a future at Tottenham? I still think even if he's playing really well, that's still up in the air, because whether he wants to be here long term, as Brian said, I'm not convinced by it. But I think for me, if he can keep up this level of performance, I'm more than happy for him to still be part of the squad in the future. But his contract's up in 18 months, so it'll be interesting to see this summer what happens. Because if, let's say, he has a really good end to the season, do we give him a new contract, or is it a case of, with 1 year left, do we take a good offer for him?
It's crunch time this summer, isn't it, for Lo Celso? So we have to see what happens with him throughout the season. But if he does carry on in this rich vein of form, and let's say really contributes from now to the end of the season, I'm all for giving him that new contract. I really am. But I could also understand if he does want to move, if Barcelona come calling or something like that.